Hey everybody, so one of my passions for our industry is sharing opportunities when you can have a voice and make a difference. We're in one of those opportunities right now. I love the code reform process and leveraging change at the code level, but there's a bigger opportunity sometimes, and that is at the federal level. And CMS recently posted in the Federal Register that Joint Commission's continued application approval is out there for public input, for public comments. And that's an important time because what I'm gonna go through, where I'm gonna transition to my computer and share my screen, but the process that I'm about to go through is for all United States citizens. Anybody who lives in this country. How the process works is that CMS, by federal law, has to issue out a public comment period anytime they're making changes to the Code of Federal Regulations, CFR, which is where our conditions of participation come from. They also have to do it whenever they are going through the accreditation approval process for either new applicants to become accrediting organizations or extensions. And whether or not you are Joint Commission or DNV or you're accredited directly by another entity, the point is that you have a voice in the process of things that you have seen. To prove this, the last time, 3 years ago, whenever Joint Commission applied, one person made a comment. Not me, it was not me. I do know who it was, but one person made a comment, and as a direct response, CMS made changes to Joint Commission's processes, saying, these are the things that we heard in our public comment phase, and these are the things that you have to change. That is proof, y'all, that you have a voice. So, all right, let's go ahead. I'm gonna transition to my computer. I'm gonna show you how easy this is for you to go in and to provide comment in the Federal Register. All right, so here we are. We are on the Federal Register page, and don't worry, I'm gonna send this link. I'm gonna put this link down in the chat below. As you can see, so this request from CMS came out about 10 days ago, so they have a 30-day period. So we have until, it came out on February the 11th, we have until 3/13, so March 13th. You got 20 days left. Somebody's already submitted a comment in here. I'm going to have several comments associated with it. We always have the ability to continuously improve as an industry. And I think it's important that we share our voices and our experiences, as I've said. In here, we're not gonna go through every single component, but what is important, I think it's important to understand, where does this come from? Right, so the Department of Health and Human Services, specifically the Secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services, is granted the authority by Congress, starting all the way back in the 1935 Social Security Act. And if we go to the Social Security Act of today, in 1102, section 1102, it specifically says that the Secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services makes and publishes the rules and regulations associated with this act. And this is ultimately, at the end of the day, where we have the requirements for accrediting organizations, effective accreditation. And in here, in the Social Security Act, in 1865, it specifically talks about accreditation of the provider entity, and names one of them, but it says other national accreditation bodies demonstrating these requirements. This is specifically where the requirements for accrediting organizations such as Joint Commission and DNV and AAAHC, this is where they all come from, right? This is the base, the foundational congressional grant that says Department of Health and Human Services, you write the rules. In here, it talks about the 60-day deadline. It talks about the 30-day public comment request period. This is where Congress said, yes, you have the authority, but you have to consider the public, the United States citizens. And that's what's super cool here. As a side note, If you ever wondered where the fire safety requirements specifically came from, it comes from section here. This is Part E, section 861, and in here, subpart E9 meets other requirements of health and safety of the individuals, and under that, there's a subsection C that specifically talks about with respect to fire and safety regulations under this paragraph 9. Provide all of that if you guys want. The important thing, now back to this Federal Register. This is nice and easy for you to be able to go through and provide your contextual information. So we have the background here. It talks about those requirements. Where do they come from? And it talks briefly about the approval of our deemed organizations, how this process works, and how they evaluate the requests. So in here, it talks about those requirements that tie back specifically to the Code of Federal or to the Social Security Act, and ultimately back to the Code of Federal Regulations in Part 488. So Title 42, Section 488.5 is the application and reapplication procedures for our accrediting organizations. If you ever want to read through this, it's great information, but they have to be able to tie back to the conditions of participation. They have requirements about their timeliness. They have their notification process, and more, significantly more, like what they have to do, the crosswalk of their standards compared to the conditions of participation, as well as the tags. All great information. So when you're going through this and you're looking through the criteria, you have the ability to make comments associated with this application. What do you see that's working well? What do you think misaligns with the government? What do you think are opportunities for improvement? All of that, and maybe you just want to say something great about the accrediting organization, right? Maybe that's great. That's wonderful. The point is that you have that voice and that power to be able to do it. So up here at the very top is where you say submit a public comment. Now, you put in your comment here, and you can direct your comment directly to CMS. Maybe you want to use this as a platform to say, hey, I love my accrediting organization, but I think that there's some CMS things that need to change. Feel free, right? I mean, this is your platform to have your voice heard. You talk about, you put in here what the comment's about in a drop-down menu. If you want, a lot of people do this. They'll upload an additional, a Word document or a PDF that's signed by them. Now, you have three choices here. You can be an individual yourself and say I want my name shown. You can be an organization. Now, if you're doing this, you need to go to your healthcare system, or maybe you're doing it on behalf of your ASHE chapter, your local chapter. Make sure that you have the binding authority to be able to do this. So very, very important. Also, you can just be anonymous and say, I don't want anybody to know, and you just want to type out your comment and send it to CMS for review. So that is the process. It's really that simple. At the end of the day, you hit your submit comment, and then it's going to show up right here that another comment has been received.
And there you have it. It's just that simple. So take the opportunity. You have a voice to make a difference, to drive change in our industry. Your experiences are unique to you. So share them with the federal government, share them with CMS, and drive change where you want to see it. Till next time, happy learning.